Cruz, star of Chess on Broadway. Your co-stars
Hi.
are staring at us.
Gorgeous. Always gorgeous.
How are things at the Imperial Theater? How are things as a blonde?
Oh,
Because
yes.
when I first saw you, you were not a blonde, but Svetlana is a blonde. That's why you're blonde, right? It's for the...
No, I was
Oh,
blonde pre-Svetlana.
okay, okay.
I went blonde for my honeymoon in Greece because I
Oh,
wanted to be like Mamma Mia.
I love that.
And I surprised my husband. He had no idea, and I went blonde. And then I had the audition for Chess right after I got back.
Wow.
So it was just a coincidence.
So do you think it helped get you cast as Svetlana? I love
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, it was kismet for sure.
Svetlana is a great character. I've always loved her. I mean, first of all, I know him so well. It's like musical theater heaven,
Yeah.
and you get to sing that with Lea Michele every night. But Svetlana, you know, when you're watching Chess, you're sort of getting used to all these characters and their relationships, and then bam, look who shows up, this blonde Svetlana, and she's here to shake everything up and like take the story in a whole new direction. Is that fun?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like I've never watched Love Island, but I feel like it's akin to like a bombshell entering the villa. It's like a unique challenge to enter when the show is already rolling and to really be jumping on like not only a moving train but like a bullet train.
Yeah.
And also Svetlana is like the first person who's on stage by herself in the whole show. So
we
it's
noticed that,
like
right.
pretty intense way to enter a
Yeah.
story. But I also
Clear the stage. Svetlana's here.
it's a lot of pressure, and also like the entrance is very intense, so it's like there's this expectation, right? And so you're trying to meet that expectation night after night. But I also really like the opportunity to have a one-on-one with the audience and introduce myself in a way that feels really intimate and human, because these songs are so intense and big and brass, but they are so like underbelly raw humanity underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about this production. It's a nice balance between these really deep emotional relationships and rock star moments.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I told Lea Michele, like when you're doing I Know Him So Well, it's like I felt like I was watching the Grammys. Like you're like the two of you, it's like a Grammys number completely. It must be so awesome to get to do that as a Broadway performer.
Unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, I get to look in Lea Michele's eyes quite deeply every night. And I have to like quell the fangirl inside of myself because it's still really crazy. Lea to me is like probably one of the craziest people I've gotten to work with in that she's been in my life and my mind's eye for so long, and getting to be as close with her as I get to be and to be like as silly and playful as we get to be backstage and stuff is like not lost on me how cool that is.
So did Glee start while you were still, I'm trying to think,
I was in high school.
In high school up
Yeah.
in Connecticut. So you were trying to be your own version of Rachel. But I've seen the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
by the way, which is called My Strongest Suit, which I assume Amneris is a dream role.
Oh my God, yeah.
We need an Amneris. We need Aida revival, by the way.
Blonde. I mean, we do need an Aida revival.
That YouTube channel is iconic,
incredible.
and it's not just because of your Mama Rose, but that was your senior spotlight moment. You looked like, and okay, so Rachel Berry was her own intense musical theater girl, right? You seem like I mean, that it feels very mature what you're doing on that. I mean, it was incredible to watch. I mean, what else did I see? I saw, well, it starts with Sandy.
Yeah.
Right? You were Sandy in Greece.
Oh my God.
And I think there was some Les Mis in
Yeah,
there.
it was Eponine and
And then,
Les
of
Mis.
course, you're a Gypsy Triumph.
Yeah.
And you're not posting, she's not posting to it anymore because now she's actually on Broadway, unfortunately. But I feel like you could reboot that channel.
That is so funny that you've watched all of that. Wow.
But now I love thinking that the whole Glee of it all, that you were, a kid watching
yeah.
Glee, and then like now you're in.
I was obsessed.
There she is, staring at you.
I auditioned for the Glee Project season 2.
Oh, wow.
And I was on the first casting episode.
Oh my God, wow.
And I'm pretty sure Amber Ardolino was on that season with me. Ali Stroker was on that season with me. And I was only in the first episode and then I got cut. But like the one quote they had of me, because I was in my confessional and the producers were the same producers as Legally Blonde Search for Elle Woods.
Okay.
And by then I had already done the Legally Blonde tour. So
Right.
we had like rapport. And I was like, what do you guys want? And they were like, well, we kind of need like a villain quote or whatever. I was like, great, we'll do it. And so
you were Vivian in Legally Blonde, so you were like, villain, I can do villain.
Exactly. So I was like, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to compete and to win.
Oh, I feel like I have a memory of you. I feel like I remember that girl. Like, who is she?
I was 19. Oh my God. So yeah, I'm on that one episode of the Glee Project. But I wanted to be on Glee so badly.
Of course you did.
So badly.
Yeah.
And now I get to see her every night, and I feel like I'm on Glee with her.
By the way, now you've recorded. Did you bring the cast album for me? Do you have it?
I
I'm dying for
wish
this cast
I
album.
wanted to. I feel like it's gonna be so good. Just in the booth, it was so good and so fun to record. Getting to watch, like, Aaron is a pro.
Yeah.
Watching him record was like, I learned a lot. He knew
Uh-huh.
exactly what he needed. Same with Lea. I mean, they've
Sure.
been in the studio. I can't imagine how much they were in the studio for Glee.
I can't
Every
imagine.
day.
Honestly, I can't imagine. Right.
All
every
the
day.
tracks
Yeah,
that came
yeah,
out and
I know.
everything. So it was like watching Masters at work, and it's gonna be so good. So good.
I can't wait.
Me too.
And I'm going to be back at the Imperial. I love this show so much. It is so much fun. Of course, you were in Softs. That was a nice big moment for you. You won that fancy newcomer award. What's that one
The
called?
Clarence Derwent.
Yeah, it's the Clarence Derwent Award. How'd that feel?
Oh my God, incredible. I had no idea. I let the call like go to voicemail because I was like, that's spam. And I go to voicemail being like, hi, this is, we're from Equity and you've won an award. And I was like, pick up. But I remember it was like at a time where I was like kind of in a lull and I needed like a ego boost or a confidence boost.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that meant the world to me. And Danny Burstein gave me the award at the ceremony. And I've been a huge fan of him for years and years and years. Him and Cabaret is still one of my most favorite things I've ever seen. Him doing the Pineapple song in the last revival.
Yes.
It still holds such a place in my heart. I love him. And Jessica Hecht was there, and it was just like, it was a really cool ceremony. And it
By
meant
the
a
way,
lot.
Danny was a great Herbie. Did you show him your Mama Rose clips?
No, I didn't. No,
At the
I
ceremony?
didn't.
No? I'll show him.
I don't show that to people anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I not be mentioning
No,
it?
it's okay.
Take down the channel. It's amazing. It actually really holds
know.
up. It's like
Thank
15 years ago.
It's just me copying Patty is really what it is.
You know, I've seen you say that in interviews. I see a very original take on Mama Rose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't watched it in a really long time, to be fair, but I do know that her version was like seared in my memory, and I took a lot from her. I think she's the best to ever do it.
Is this a role we'll see you do in like 30 years, you think?
Probably. Probably.
You're doing very well. I mean, it feels like, I think it's easy to look at someone's career and their credits and just think like, wow, it's been like a really great, steady working rise. But I'm sure it doesn't always feel that way.
No.
As an actor, right? I'm sure it feels like
not.
every job is potentially the last job.
Yes.
What is ever going to happen again?
Yes.
So what has it been like for you? I think you came to New York like as a 19-year-old,
Yeah,
is that right?
2011 I moved here.
Okay, so what's it been like for you this time here and this journey you're on?
It's been very long, I think. Like after the Legally Blonde tour when I was a child, I moved here and like didn't have work for years. And I worked as a babysitter. I was working in coffee shops. I was unemployed. I got fired from a bunch of jobs. I was like an extra on TV shows. I did catering jobs. Just to like survive here. But thankfully, like my parents took the nest egg that they had for my college and just like put it toward my rent and my classes that I would take here. Like I would take Alexander Technique classes at the 92nd Street Y, and I would try and take acting classes and singing lessons and try and stay like up on the craft and see as much as I could. But there was lots of swaths of not working, and it wasn't really until Hamilton that I started working like with any sort of regularity. And I mean, I say that, but then I did Hamilton and then the pandemic happened. So, so not really, I guess. But really, I guess once Suffs happened at the public, that's when I feel like I started having like more of a footing in New York, which I do think like changes. The touring is like one thing. Yeah. And I feel like I had a good relationship with like casting directors from touring, but starting to work here, I think changed the game for me a little bit. And I do feel like I've learned so much on every job, and I see myself continuing to grow, which I think is the coolest thing about this job is that you're never done, and you're hopefully only gonna get better with the jobs that you do. And I've been really grateful to get some really cool jobs and get to work with some really cool people and great actors and like just try and get better with everything. You mentioned Hamilton as a sort of big turnaround for you. You were Eliza on tour. I think you won an award for that too. Didn't you? Yeah. What do you call that one? The Urn? That's what I call it. I don't know how to say it. Independent Reviewers of New England. Oh, okay, great. I love it. I love the awards. But you also got eventually a husband. Yeah.
So let's talk
Yes.
about that guy.
Yeah. My husband, Edred, is playing Hamilton right now, right next door at the Rogers, which is pretty special that we get to be so close. And he's really, really good in the role. So I'm grateful that he's getting his due on Broadway. Yesterday, literally, we had 2 shows, and he came over between shows and we watched Love is Blind in my dressing room. And I was
Oh,
like, this is heaven.
that's
This is
wild.
actually heaven.
Yeah, you have to really take that in, that
Yeah.
you're getting this opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, because he did it in July on Broadway for 3 weeks, and he was like, this would have been so much cooler if you were still on Broadway. And I was like, you're right. I'll get back on Broadway and we'll do it together again. Because we hadn't started chess at that time. And so it's been like so special. I think he's really killing it over there. I want to try and go see at least like Act 1. I think I could maybe sneak in for Act 1 and then sneak back to my theater for Act 2. But yeah, it's been so special. I hope to work with him again because I do love working with him. I loved playing opposite him, obviously, so much.
So on the tour, he was Hamilton and you were Eliza.
Yeah.
And I know you started as friends, friends who kissed every night on the stage.
3 times, yeah.
Right? Oh, okay. And then eventually, I think during the pandemic, it became something deeper. And then you got married in Hawaii, and then you dyed your hair blonde.
Yep.
That's this whole story.
Yep, that's my life in a nutshell. Yeah.
So what attracted you to him, and what was sort of the? Have you dated a lot of actors in your life, or?
No, I don't think I have. I haven't dated a lot of people, but like a handful maybe. But he was like. The fastest way to my heart, honestly, is just to be a good actor. Like that's like talent crushes for me are like very real, and getting to act with him every night, and then we would go home at night and video chat and talk about the show and how to make it deeper and more nuanced and more honest. And like that to me, someone who's always striving to be more is very attractive to me. And I fell in love with him on stage every night, truly, and that like really leaked into our real lives. And it lasted because showmances are like notorious for being in the show and then maybe in real life it doesn't translate. But we really took our time to see if it would translate in the real world, and I'm grateful that we did because he's like the best thing that is in my life.
That's lovely. I love that. I love a Broadway romance.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
On 46th Street. So I also have to ask you, you just finished starting the film, the Merrily We Roll Along film, Richard Linklater's film, which I think I'll see when I'm in my 80s, maybe, the finished film. This is a movie, obviously an adaptation of Merrily We Roll Along that will take as long to film it as the story takes to tell.
Yep.
So we will get to see you age on screen.
Yep.
Which is fascinating. You're playing Gussie, which is a great role, really fun role. She's the Broadway star.
Yeah.
So what was it like? Oh my God, I'm dying to know more about this movie. I wish I could be on set. Tell me more about it.
Maybe you can. I mean, we're filming for the next 10 years, so we'll try and get you down there.
Invite me next time.
So the way it all came about was honestly like, if anything showed me that this business is about relationships, it was like the way that I got this job. And it's like goes to show you that the way you show up to every job is important because it has lasting roots that will follow you for years. And I had done The Connector, and Jonathan Mark Sherman is adapting the script.
Okay.
And so he texted me one night during the run of Suffs and was like, would you want to play Gussie in the movie? And I was like, this is a joke. It was like nighttime too. We were like getting ready for bed. And I was like, this is a joke. And he was like, well, we can have a meeting with Rick and also just like put like a Gussie song on tape. I was like, what Gussie song? He's like, whatever you want. I was like, okay. So I just like quickly put something on tape the next night after the show. And then I had a meeting with Rick and Jonathan and we just chatted. And then I went down to the Soho Diner. We were meeting at like the Soho Hotel. I went down to the Soho Diner to have pancakes with my husband before my show. And I got a text that was like, it's you. And that was it. And
it's
I was
a major
like,
movie project.
oh
I
my
love
God.
it.
And at the time I had not filmed anything. So I knew so little about any of
no
that
screen
world.
test. No. Wow.
And so I was, that's a lot of trust to put in someone. And so the first time we filmed this, not this past December, but the December before, I was convinced I was going to get fired. And we're also shooting Alexandra Shiva, Jonathan's wife, is a very amazing documentarian, and we're shooting a documentary along with the film. So I'm pretty sure they have some footage of me freaking out outside thinking I'm going to be fired because I wasn't sure I knew what I was doing. And I'm acting alongside people like Paul Mescal and Ben Platt and Beanie Feldstein, who very much know what they're doing. And I was so scared. And then I had like a nice talk with Rick after, and he was like, it's like a gamble to cast somebody in this part, but I think we made the right gamble. And I was like, oh, thank God.
That
I'm
is so wild.
Scared. But we had a meeting recently about the next section we're filming, which is a big one. And I'm really excited. We're going to film in December, and I'm really excited about it.
So like every December you're filming? Is that how it
Every
works?
other December.
Every other December?
Because it's usually 2-year breaks between each section, except for one section, there's a 5-year break, which we are taking.
Wow.
So yeah, like again, to watch myself age like that, I think is going to be so, especially because of Merrily, it's backwards to forwards.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be so emotional to watch.
Yeah.
And so much life is going to happen. It's really heady. I can't really conceptualize it right now.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll come.
I'm trying not to get too excited because I'm going to have to wait so long to see it.
I know, same, honestly, same. But they keep saying they've watched the footage and they love it so far. So I'm hopeful.
And also, by the time the movie comes out, who knows what we'll get to see done on Broadway between now and then.
I know.
Yeah,
it's really wild to think about. Really wild to think about.
I love it. I love that for you. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
So right now you're in chess, and you look glamorous. Do you feel fabulous up there?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I love being a blonde, obviously, and my wig is like my favorite thing I've ever worn ever. And that leather coat that Tom Brokaw put me in is pretty fabulous.
Yeah.
So I do. I feel she's very easy to slip into, which is nice for something that you need to slip into quickly. Or, I mean, I guess take your time through Act 1 and intermission, but it's nice. I feel like I have a lot of touchstones for her now. So, like, the minute I get into her, I'm in her. And all the design elements really help that. And they really help that. They're great scene partners.
Yeah.
Really great scene partners. Working with Nick again, because he was my burr on tour for 9 weeks only.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't really get any scenes in Ham, but getting to be with Nick has been very special. He's like a very special person.
You all are incredible. I can't wait to see it again. And I love this for you because I feel like you're a real Broadway fan. I feel like, I mean, your YouTube channel really revealed that. But like, I just think that like all of these projects mean so much to you. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
And I genuinely can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. So good to see you.
So good to see you.